Good morning, everyone. So here we go again. They're out there having a bit of fun, heading around the bottom towards the Cape of Good Hope, one of the great capes around the world, one of the three. And that's a bit of a turning point, no pun intended. So then they'll be sort of heading north-ish on their way up to Antigua. It'd be quite a moment in a lot of ways. Anyway, good to be back. We just going through the pictures we just popped up then. I'll stick them on again. That's Cape Town. For those of you who didn't see the picture before, we'll be at the V&A waterfront, but we have been unable to secure berthing ahead of the 1st of December. So, which is fantastic. It took us a lot of time and effort and a lot of goodwill from the part of V&A waterfront to get us in there. But we're locked into the 1st of December. That's a reality. So we're happy with that. And that means, of course, that we had an ETA of Renault before he was just about to set off from East London, saying he thought he'd be in on the 27th of December. And that means we needed to make a call before they left East London because there might be some tactical issues involved. And that means that we're now making a 4-day pit stop for the entire fleet. Everyone will have to stop here at Simonstown at the False Bay Yacht Club, which is a fantastic club, really hospitable people, and they're very excited to welcome us. It's quite interesting, they follow, the sailors there follow all our events, the GGR and the OGR into Cape Town and all that sort of stuff, and they're super excited to see the fleet, so that's good. All their berthing is full. That's the easiest way to describe it. But they're going to squeeze us in. They're going to juggle boats around and all the rest of it. So it's a great club. It's a great town. Lots of things to do there. It's a Navy base as well and all that sort of stuff. So we've been busy with the GGR conference the last couple of days. So it was a good time for us. That's some of the GGR entrants out the front of Les Sables d'Olonne here down the beach, playing with big beach ball. So timing was perfect for us. And Kerry's still up there. I just wanted to see he's still up the top in Durban. Hasn't left yet. He might have left this morning, but I doubt it. We'll look at the weather on that as well and talk about that. So he's certainly facing some interesting weather compared to the rest of the fleet. So I haven't had a current update, but I've got updates here from the rest of the crew going back a few days. They had a great time. At East London, with the yacht club there, they really felt at home. So thanks for everyone that was looking after that. I just realised some of my models and stuff are missing and back. We pulled everything apart to take it into the conference, GGR conference, which was a big success. It was a lot of fun. Geez, we laughed a lot. There's a bunch of entrants. There's something about these events, when you're all out there facing future challenges, you bond very quickly with each other. And it was great to see all the characters and so on. It was a bit like the mini globe race as well, They're all family, and it's starting to happen now with the GGR. And this time next year, we'll be right in the thick of it for sure. They'll just be entering this sort of southern oceanish areas of the GGR course. Anyway, and there's a few things to talk about. I'll tell you how we manage the process of results and what the managers and so on are going to have to do going forward, because it's going to be the home run before we believe it. Before we know it. It'll be Christmas soon. It's crazy. Christmas decorations everywhere here in Les Sables d'Olonne now. It's the official Christmas season. Woo! And it's Sunday. Anyway, that part of the course. Hoping you have a good Sunday. It's the 23rd of November. 2 days, and then we're 1 month away from Christmas. And it's all very interesting. Anyway, let's go straight to the tracker. Just got a ping from Tina. So, right, you're on the tracker. There's the first question, which is a bad one. Anyway, I'll answer that in a minute. Not a bad question, but the answer might not make people so happy. But anyway, we'll see what we can do. You're on the tracker. Now, I'm on the tracker. There's still a bit of ocean to go, but they're really making tracks on the way down. So you can see this is where they're going. Mossel Bay is right over on the left of the screen over here. And this is the fleet currently sailing. The distance to go, they're starting to get light breeze now. They're out of the main part of the current. So to Mossel Bay, which is what they're talking about, it's still 175 miles, okay, on average, 175 miles to go. and we'll see when we go through the weather exactly what the challenges are going to be. And I'll just focus on the fleet here. I'm just going to have a peek because I only just turned this on. We had another late night last night, not partying. Nut Kerry's still in port, so we'll just focus on this and see how it's going. And here we go. They haven't quite been at sea for 24 hours yet, but boy, they were doing like 8 knots last night when they're sitting in the current. And just to get this out of the way, we might go straight to the current before we talk about it, because you can see they came straight out, hooked into the current, came down. As I say, 7-8 knots, pretty consistently in what appeared to be a nice breeze, a favourable wind direction, and not too strong. But there was certainly a bit of a crazy sea at the beginning. There was a residual swell left over, and from the wind against current before they came out. But that should have settled, so we'll see what they're saying later on when they send us their reports. Anyway, not a lot to be said for the currents there, but if we look back at here at the currents going around the corner all the way to False Bay and Cape Town, you can see it's generally favourable. There's a nice bit of a shift there heading towards Mossel Bay, and then when they turn the corner, there's this hump right on the edge. There's Cape Town. False Bay is this sort of hole just behind Cape Town, so they're not going to be very far from Cape Town once they get there, and that's the next destination. So current's going to be pretty average, nothing like what you've got with the Fullagurra stream here. It's just going to be favourable. It would be unusual to have anything like a head current, but it might give them half a knot or something like that. Anyway, back to the breeze. And okay, we're at this level of the breeze. We'll come back to their speed over the ground, all that sort of stuff in a minute while we're looking here. And you can see it's pretty reasonable. They've all paid off a little bit because the wind's coming just to the west of south at the moment. That's the real weather now, and it looks like it's about 5 to 10 knots, maybe 10 to 12 knots, something like that in there, and it's generally favourable. The big picture before we go there, we can screen back. Pretty traditional. There's a bit of a northerly there now for Kerry, but you'd see it's going to disappear pretty quickly. Very unstable, lots of little systems. This is a bit of a going to be the dominant factor for the weather here. It's a South Atlantic high that's come across here to the east, sitting now underneath, heading towards underneath the Cape. That's like a blocking factor, and so you've got your counterclockwise wind direction there. And I'm going to move this along. We've got plenty of time this morning. If I do a quick one, you can see still favourable wind direction underneath the bottom of Cape Town. Then it's quiet, calm. It's all being influenced by this South Atlantic high coming across. And also there's a low pressure system down here by the look of it. That's a low pressure top of a low. So it's all pretty favourable there. It's just that at the moment it's a light breeze. So we come up, we know what's driving it. And as we come along, that's the 24th. So that's one day. We come across here, second day, still pretty favourable. So they're just going to go slow for a while, but they may not call in at Mossel Bay if the weather keeps favourable. Yesterday, or maybe 36 hours ago, it looked like there was a bit of a system coming and they might slow down, but now they may keep sailing all the way to False Bay. There's the 26th again. It's the wind on the beam. There's a bit of a hook there, but they should be, by the 26th, they should be the other side of it. If I blow this up now, we'll come in a bit closer. You can see the hook here. The fleet by that time will be over here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them sail straight past Mossel Bay and head into False Bay. So it's changed. But when they departed East London, it looked like they were going to have to stop. Then it's picking up, and you can see this is why this is only the 26th. I think now with this forecast, Renault was suggesting he was going to get in on the 27th of December if he kept going, and now I think it would be feasible possibly to come in on the 20. They could have come in earlier than that even, because it would be quite fast, quite a solid breeze there, very strong, positive wind direction flow there all the way through the 28th. It softens off around Cape Town 29th, so you can see what was going to happen. And there is literally nowhere to go in Cape Town. So we've called this 4-day stopover, and we may, we'll see how it looks. That's designed specifically to make sure they don't arrive before the 1st of December. And as I say, we had nowhere to go. It's got nothing to do with Jane and I even arriving. In this instance, we just had nowhere to go. So anyway, I'm sure they'll enjoy Simonstown. It's a great place. Been there quite often. Great people. So now back to now. Let's just look at the boat situations. It's pretty interesting when you look at that weather. It's like a two-stop from Durban, and you couldn't really ask for better. We've now got Simonstown, but that's not part of the weather routine. As you know, they had 16 days of weather opportunities. Kerry took that opportunity up. He had a private reason for staying in Durban, and now he's watching the weather windows, but hasn't been able to move yet. And I'll look at that at the end of this. Well, in fact, I'll look at it now after we look at the boats to see what his prospects are for getting out and so on. So right now, we come up here, make that a bit bigger so you can see it. We'll bring this up here. And Josh is a little bit behind at the back there, 2.8 knots and 113 mile day. And daily runs will be the trick here on the 24 hours because they left at slightly different times. But 2.8 boat speed. There's not a lot of wind there. There's not a lot of current. 113 mile day. Then if we come down here, we'll pick it up a bit. We've got Jacob on 4.1, so there's still breeze in the middle, and 126 mile day. Adam, 4 knots, 127 mile day. Entrant, they're all hanging in as a group, 3.9 knots, 129 mile day. That's not Entrant, that's Eric. What am I talking about? That's Eric. I just saw the E. So Eric, 29 mile day. Entrant, 128 mile day, 3.6, pretty similar. These guys down here should be working a bit faster, I think. What do we got here? So Jasmine, 4.2, 131, no, about the same. And side by side with Christian, 3.9, 131. They are very close. Let me have a look here just for fun to see how this is working. Look, here we go. Not cheapest. They just about need their fenders, I think. That's really close. So that's fun for them. If I put that there and put that there, jeepers. That's close. Yep, that's very close. I'll get this right. So even not distance 4.5 to see who's winning, it's only 0.9 of a mile. That's 100 and something meters. Jeepers, they'll need their fenders, so that's close. They'll be having a lot of fun. Christian, hopefully sail repairs are doing well. He had an issue with his jib falling apart. So now we'll scan this back. But yeah, that's pretty close, eh? That's a lot of fun. Get rid of that. Come down here, and they're close at the front as well. Right, we've done it. Eric, Christian, and Thingo, Peeler. Right there, we've now shaping up to be a lead group here. We always say this lead group, that's where the winner of the MGR is going to be. And depending on what weather Kerry gets on the way round, it might be interesting to see his relative position. But anyway, Peeler, 4.5, 133. Starting hard. Renault, ooh, jeepers. Dan, the man. Ooh. So Renault sitting tight against Dan, and he's doing 4.4, and they did 136. So they're in the fastest speed group for the two, and Dan is just squeaking in front of him, just like that, 137. So he sailed a mile faster in the last not quite 24 hours. So that's kind of fun. They'll be having a ball there, because not only are they neck and neck with Renault looking at Dan's transom, they're very close. Not quite as close as Christian and not quite as close as Christian and Jasmine. But let's just have a look for fun. It's Sunday. We can waste a bit of time here. There. Yeah, boy. Less than just over a quarter of a mile. It's nothing. They're looking at each other, breathing down his neck. I don't think Renault's got any sleep. Dan is kicking back, having coffees and just watching aft, relaxing generally, not doing too much, enjoying the sun. And his haircut. That's what it is. It's the haircut that's done it. So anyway, good to see. They're all having a lot of fun and keeping the pressure on. But as we saw from the forecast with the wind, it's going to go quiet. So there will be, just to be clear, I'll bring this back up. You can see they've still got 130 miles or 37 miles to go to Mossel Bay, but I've got a sneaky suspicion they'll sail straight past. So we come back here. We need to jiggle the weather, get the wind back up. Just have a close look just to give you an estimate of what I reckon. That's the current weather. Now I'm just going to do this close routine and click it through every 3 hours so you can see what's going to happen. Here we go. So it's just basically light, favourable wind direction, light, coming around to, yep, they're just going to drift. But I think it's not worth dipping into anywhere and wait for the drift, because they could stop anywhere and wait for more wind to come. It may be, actually, because if you want to go fast, if they're going to go, here's the deal. I don't think there's anywhere for them to anchor. But it might have been an option to call at Port Elizabeth and stop, because you can see the next 24 hours is going to be slow. Or maybe not so slow. No, it's not going to be fast, right? So you could literally stop, let someone sail away, and then this is tomorrow. This is the 25th. So tactically, it may have been an option to lose that slow day. You see, because you can see there straight away, tomorrow afternoon, the wind is back, and it's probably going to hold fast. So imagine this. Imagine if Dan decided to go into Port Elizabeth, Renault drifts along for the rest of today doing sort of 3 knots or something. And Dan waits and then pops out in this good stuff. Ooh, no, it gets a bit of a headwind. But even if you sat tight, waited at Port Elizabeth, here it comes. I'm only just playing around here. But there, you leave there, well, then it's a bit, it may be too much wind. And that's going to last a couple of days, 27, 28. You know, oh no, that's not good. Yeah, better take it while you can. At least you're having a nice ride. And anyway, the competition's going with you, so keep the cover on the competition. So yeah, all looks cool. But anyway, soft day, and then I think you'll see him sail all the way to False Bay, which is the next stopover. Okay, so what's Kerry's decision line looking like right now? This is the weather at the moment. It hasn't been like that for too long, because he would have run into something, so he's still there. But let's see what his options are looking like for getting out of here. So there's the quiet bit. Now it's headwinds. You could try and leave on this light stuff. Wouldn't be much in it, but there's no wind, so that's not a good call. That's the 25th. So if you leave now, you've got a favourable wind. So say he took off on the 25th, right? There's the 25th. How long is it going to last? There's the 26th. The 26th. You mate, it's a day and a half. Maybe get down in the current, maybe, but then you've got a bit of a puff from the wrong way. Then you've got a bit more of a puff, so you'd have to get in by the 26th, and then you'll be pretty right. If you made it to East London, you'd be pretty right. That's the big one going around. And then you've got a headwind again. So, yeah, Kerry's got the same sort of challenges the fleet had. Now, timeline-wise, you'll be using up a substantial proportion of the 16 days, very quickly. So let's wait and see. Watch your space, see what's happening there. Anyway, that's enough of what's going on there. Hide that. I'm coming back here to say g'day. G'day. I'll just read you some of the reports. It's sort of like a bit of storyline here, which is kind of fun. A bit of fun here. Entrant reports. There we go. I've got to find them. There's so much action going on here. Stand by. I'll keep talking. Right, I'm going to go one at a time. Entrant reports. There we go. Got them. Right. We go right back to yesterday. Sorry, again, not so sorry. We go right back here. We didn't read that one. Kerry Harris. Sorry, going update. Okay, so I think, hang on, I've got one from Kerry. There's a few days here, obviously. Update 21st. I'll start from Eric. Okay, there you go, right, otherwise we'll be here for ages. Okay, update 21st November. Having a wonderful time in East London. The Buffalo River Yacht Club have really looked after the MGR fleet. I've had plenty of sleep after feeling quite tired. Sunbear's mainsail sustained 2 more splits at the top during the strong winds in the last 5 nautical miles coming in. Most of our mains, the fabric has UV damage after 10 months at sea. Checking weather every day and making a decision today, which will be the next port. Looks like Saturday noon departure and maybe Mossel Bay. They're all talking between themselves. So that's all cool. Kerry Harris. Here we go. Origami update 20th of November. We are still in Durban awaiting good northerly wind to start the passage to Cape Town. My days are filled with boat work and friendships, and I've ticked off some important long-standing defects and repairs. Foremost is my masthead VHF aerial, which now works perfectly. I've needed a new coaxial cable connector at the deck level. Every day I sail a laser and do some coaching, and I feel my race fitness returning fast. I'm steeling myself for some very unpleasant weather ahead when likely to be approaching the Cape. At least there will be no mosquitoes offshore to torture my nights aboard. Mozzies, first person to mention Mozzies in Durban. There you go. BB of Cork, good life in Buffalo River Yacht Club. See these beautiful places we get to stop at. Certainly look good. The meals and the atmosphere there. It was a cool looking little club there. And quiet place along with local sailors who are the real friends. Super nice people. I bet you they're blown away when they meet you and look at the boats. Looks like South Africa is the proper sailor's home. No snobbery, no big head yachties, just down-to-earth people, honest and helpful. It looks like tomorrow, Saturday, weather turns in our favour, and we shall set sail to proceed with our passage, planning next stop in at least Mossel Bay or even further. BB and skipper in good shape and ready to go at any time. So, boy, certainly a rest stop. That little short sail means there's not a lot to do on the boats, maybe, except for some. Anyway, Renault Capuchinet took to the in East London. This is in French. Capuchinet prepared for Positive Meteo following the weather. An attendant repositioned past moments with sympathetics, spending a great time with sympathetic or similar friends, sailors and people at the club there. So I think everyone's having a great time, except for Christian, poor bloke. I know he said poor bugger. Anyway, he's looking after the sail repairs, not a long stopover. You may have seen some of the photos. We'll share some of that stuff shortly. We've been busy with the GGR conference, but we'll get back into that. Again, lots of sail repairs to be done in our boats. Not a nice feeling when the sailmaker looks at you and starts laughing when you tell him that you have to go 8,000 miles with these sails. I repaired my jib with sticky back and was able to sew it with a professional machine on Paradise Falls. Yeah, someone lent him a machine. I don't know whether you saw those photos. It looked quite good. Some of the others might have used it as well. Anyway, getting Argo ready to leave East London tomorrow. I think there'll be some big decisions in Cape Town about the sails, but let's wait and see. Number 2, or should I say 88, and really enjoyed East London. Not slept so much in a long time. I guess the only benefit from being a bit cut off from the distractions. A full day was spent fixing my outboard, which is now repaired, but we'll see how long it lasts. Big thanks to the Skookums, Adam, Rob, and for helping me out. Other than that, we're in good shape, with a bit nervousness leaving due to the swell and the breakwater, but all good and happy to be zipping along. Probably saw the photo when they're leaving. There was a big swell running, but it was blue sky and it looked like a lot of fun. Look, the temperature looked perfect. The funny one was Dan. Dan does the post. Who's that? And then I forgot about his haircut. Dan's looking very fast, and you could see in that post he did a little video clip, feeling super confident, feeling I'm into this. He's right in the groove. It was really quite cool to see. Everyone's doing a lot more videos now, which is good. A lot going on. So cool. Where did I get to? Help me out. Other than that, we're in good shape. With a bit of nervousness, though, I said that. With the swell, the breakwater, but all good and happy to be zipping along again. Yep, they're in a nice situation right now, touch wood. Adam's this is Adam's Little Ren 22. Adam slipped the lines this morning, departed East London with the fleet. Excuse me. Northeast winds and favourable southwest current are giving an average speed of 8 knots this afternoon. Lighter winds are forecast, so it's difficult to determine an ETA in Mossel Bay. Entrant Trekker, happy to be moving along. Good sleep last night, making steady progress towards Mossel Bay. Oh, that's nothing. So we had a bit of a funny issue. We had quite a few boats reported overdue going into East London. We were taking calls from the NSRI, the Rescue Coordination local organisation up the coast there. Then there were Jasmine had trouble with her outboard. She didn't request any assistance, but she made some notifications just to let them know that she might be coming into the port with an engine issue, so she might be sailing, and she contacted people at the club there. But as it turned out, she got her outboard going. That wasn't an issue with NSRI, but they'd picked up the conversations, I think, that with Jasmine just going and wanted more information. So we found that with Jasmine's mum. We'd spoken, immediately sorted that. Then Entrant, I think, forgot to finish off his safety watch. They have a sailing plan, and it's like a safety watch. So they give an ETA. It's logged with the NSRI, and they have to close off once they arrive. And a couple of them were forgetting to close that off. So the NSRI did a great job. All the systems worked. There was no dramas, and everyone got in safely. And now the weather looks as if it's been pretty kind to get them passed out of the Agulhas Current. That's all of a sudden you turn back into a normal sailor again, because you don't worry about the drama of being wind against tide, all that stuff. So that's cool. And that'll be a long-term psychological relief when you think about it, because all the way across the Indian Ocean, they'll be thinking, oh, Cape Town, Agulhas Current. Now they're looking at the forecast, and they can see that they're going to be right on top of False Bay, and then Cape Town's just around the corner. So, and they've got plenty of time to think about it. So, kind of a nice feeling for them. Anyway, that's that lot done, and I've explained. We'll look, tomorrow when we do update stuff. We'll have a good look, and I'll explain the finish line. We've made a really big finish line in False Bay, so they can have choices where they want to cross and make their way to the club for all sorts of reasons. But we'll update that in the next lot of trackers. Anyway, we'll get over this. So, Adrian, hi, when will the merch be available? That was the sad one. We'll try and get something up. We've been absolutely flat out, long days. The place is a mess here. We're stand by. I'll let you know. We should be able to, first of all, oh boy, we're running out of time. If it doesn't happen in the next 24 hours, if we don't get a list up, it's probably not going to happen now, but we will do it after Christmas, because we leave here now in 5 days, and we've got a huge amount of stuff going on. So sadly, our best intentions may not get us to a point where we can carry through with what we had hoped to do. Okay, so that means it might be available when we get back. When we get back from Cape Town, because we can't deliver because all the stuff is here. Can't do it from Cape Town. But we might be able to set up the process of taking the order. And then when we get back, we're here for a couple of months. We're here for January, February before we go to Antigua. And we'll see. But we've got a lot going on at the moment. So my apologies to all those that were getting excited about merchandise. We try to push the boundaries as best we can, but at the end of the day, there's only a couple of us trying to keep all this happening. So stand by for more news in the future. And thanks for your patience, Adrian. G'day, Christine, the Wild Spirit. G'day, Ilsa. I'm watching. I missed a couple of days. Looking forward to the GGR next time. Yeah, absolutely. Ilsa's, all part of that game. And Ruben, was great having the fleet in East London. I can imagine. Yeah, it's an eclectic bunch of crazy people. I shouldn't say that. We use the word crazy too much. Amazing people, real strong characters, doing amazing things in fantastic little boats. So, and it's clear. I have nothing to do with it. It's clear the hospitality of South Africans is off the scale by the sound of it. So that's good to see. We've always had a lot of fun with South Africans in Cape Town, So that's good. Will, when will they arrive at the CRYC? Not sure which one that is. They're coming into False Bay Yacht Club at Simonstown. So they could get there from the 26th. It's not the Royal Cape Yacht Club, unless you mean the Royal Cape Yacht Club. Maybe you're dyslexic like me. I'm not sure. Will, maybe there's another one. So I think you mean the Royal Cape Yacht Club. They're actually not coming into the Royal Cape Yacht Club. We're going to the V&A waterfront. There's not enough. Because of the Cape de Rio race and all the rest of it, there wasn't an opportunity to consider taking the fleet to the Royal Cape. It would have been good, but we're in the V&A, and we'll be a 4-day stopover at the False Bay Yacht Club as well on the marina there. And once again, thanks for everyone at False Bay who is going to look after the fleet. It was quite challenging. Literally, they had all the berthing and so on are all privately owned, and you've got Yacht Club members on it, but they're going to squeak it around. They're going to move boats. They're going to do all sorts of stuff for us, and they're very excited to think that the boats are coming. So thanks again. And they should be there, False Bay, they could be there by the 25th now. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 25th, 26th, I'd say. So let's wait and see. We may have to, if we think they get super early, that'll dictate the stopover time. So once they're there, if we think they're going to leave too early, it might go from 4 days to 5 days. We'll just reserve our options on that because the principle of that stopover will still be maintained. Sean, it takes 6 hours to get back out of PE. Mossel Bay may be better stop. Yeah. Anyway, but that's where they're planning to go. Mossel Bay at the moment. Carry on is my advice. Yeah, the weather looks like you can keep going. That's the big change because now it would have meant if Renault was thinking of being there on the 27th when he left East London, he probably could have arrived late on the 26th into Cape Town, which is crazy. After we've been speaking about the weather all this time, all across the Pacific and the Atlantic, and we've been talking about Cape Town challenges for a long time, and it looks like we've been dealt really good cards. Anyway, only less than 1 minute. Like and share. Yeah, like and share. Remember to, even comments change the algorithm. But anyway, we're not after. It's funny. We're not screaming about hits and stuff on Facebook, but we do. It's a bit of fun sharing it. The more people know about, the better. G'day, Craig. Really enjoying the updates. Good. On my way to Kinsia. Oh yeah, okay. Kinsia. I know what you're saying, but it's hard to pronounce. It sounds like you need staff. We'd love to have staff. Anyway, we need staff over. The good news is for the GGR, we're getting actually some pretty cool things happening with volunteers for the schools program, potential strong schools program, and also all over the place. So yeah, we're understaffed. I agree. Jane and I are doing all sorts of stuff, but we've got a good team on the GGR. We've got staff at GGR. So George is our manager, and Rob, who gives us help here as well. Oh, jeepers, that reminded me about the film. Bloody hell. Jeepers, Rob's here now. I've got to go and pick him up in a minute. Anyway, hi, is the finish line at False Bay or Table Bay? The finish line is in Cape Town, just off the harbour there. You'll see it on the tracker, but we're changing that. That'll be changed the next day. We changed it and told the entrance the new finish line. We just haven't changed it on the tracker yet, but it's just outside the harbour of Cape Town. And the finish line in False Bay is a latitude line, and I can tell you exactly what it is. It's I think it's 31 south. I think is it 31? I think so. 11.5 minutes south, and it extends across to 18 east, 18 degrees, 30 minutes east, right across the bay, about a mile out. So they can cross easily, close or far out, because there's some rocks there, navigation hazards, and then they'll sail around the corner and into the False Bay Yacht Club and the marina there. Grant, okay, question answered. Thanks, mate. Okay, we're done. So if all goes well, we'll be here tomorrow, and wow, they're going to be in Cape Town soon. Then it'll be Christmas. Jeepers. Then it'll be all those things across the Atlantic. Have a good weekend, everybody. Thanks for following, and we'll see you tomorrow.